Hello students, we are discussing KVPY 2020 essay paper physics section and we are now looking at question number 28 of the question paper, which is 13th question of part 1 of physics. So this is the question that we are now discussing. This question involves two circuits and I would say that for a student of 11th standard, this question may have turned out to be a lengthy question. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell this question to you by two different methods. Okay, one of the method is what I'm expecting that majority students would have done, and it would have consumed their time during the exam, good amount of time. And when the question becomes lengthy, uh, generally students lose confidence in what they are doing. So I'm expecting that many students would have struggled with this question during the exam. After the exam, many would have realized that the question was in fact doable, but during the exam they must have felt the heat on this question. So let's see what this question says. So the question basically says that these are two circuits, and in the two circuits, the output voltage across R was same. So there are some resistances in the two situations, and only one of them is named as R in both the circuits, circuit A and B, and the voltage across R is found to be same in the two circuits. Okay, so we have to discover the value of R. Okay, now a very simple examination approach to this question could have been that there are four values of resistance given to you in the four option. You can do this, that you start putting the values and you start checking the potential difference across R, and if a particular option satisfies, then that would be the answer. Okay, that is one thing to do. A very crude method, a method that relies on luck. A lot of like, if you are lucky enough, probably the first option that you try will give you the right, matching situation, like the voltage across R will be equal in both the circuit if you're lucky enough. And if you're not that lucky, you may end up doing the similar calculation with different values of R four times, and on the fourth time probably you will discover the answer. So with a bit of luck in your favor, you can finish the question quickly. If the luck is not in your favor, you may just end up consuming a lot of time in the question, but eventually you will be able to do that. So that is one way of doing the question, but certainly we will not do that. We will solve the question in the right manner. Let's do so. So guys, what we are going to do here, I'm going to calculate the equivalent resistance of circuit A. I hope you all agree, you all will agree with me when I say that these two resistances can be considered to be connected in series. Now watch my calculation very carefully. So the equivalent value of this part of the circuit would be 300 R divided by 300 plus R. Again, I hope you all agree with me that I have written this part correctly. Now the equivalent resistance of these two is connected in series with 100 and 200. So I should add a plus 300 here. Now we've got the equivalent resistance across the battery. Okay, so this is the equivalent resistance across the battery. If the EMF of the battery is divided by this resistance, then we will get the current in this circuit. So what you are looking at right now on the screen, that is written in red color, that gives you the current in this branch. Now this current will now get divided into these two branches. Okay, and if we actually calculate I1 and then multiply I1 with R, that will give us the potential difference across R. So that is one way of doing that. Or the other way is that we simply multiply this I with the equivalent value of this these two, because that will give me the potential difference between these 2 points, and that is what I need to find, because the potential difference between these 2 points will be same as the potential difference across R, and that will also be same as the potential difference across the 300 ohm resistance. So let's go with this method. Let's multiply this current with R equivalent, the equivalent resistance of 300 and R. So we are going to multiply this value with 300 R upon 300 plus R. Okay, so this is the potential difference. Let me call it as VR. So this is the potential difference across R in first circuit. Let's simplify this value a little bit first, because I can see that this entire thing is same as this entire thing. Okay, so if I adjust this thing within the denominator, I will end up writing probably this 1 plus 300 divided by 300r into 300 plus r. Have a look at this, students, whether you understood my calculation or not. So I brought this 300r here into the denominator, and then I inserted this into the bracketed term. Okay, so this is what we are going to get. Okay, so let me simplify this. So we will end up, we can cancel out this one, and we will end up writing 10r divided by r plus 300 plus r. So that would be 2r plus 300. So this is the value of potential difference across r when calculated using the first circuit. Now we are going to calculate the same value using the second circuit, and we are going to then equate them. That will give us the value of R. So let's do that. Okay, so next slide doesn't have the figure, so I'll have to just draw the figure here by myself. I'll do that. So 10 volt, and after 10 volt we have a resistance of 100 ohm here. It will not take much of a time. And then 300, 200 and R. So we have a 200, we have R, and we have a 300 air. So that finishes the circuit. This is 300, this is 200, all values are in ohms. Okay, now with this circuit, again, I hope you all agree with me that this 200 and R, they are connected in series, and their series combination is connected parallelly with the 300 ohm resistance. So we should write 300 into 200 plus R divided by sum of these two. So that will become 500 plus R. So this entire thing gives us the resistance of this part of the circuit. So I should add 100 to this. Now this gives me the equivalent resistance here. So this entire quantity, when when we divide 10 volt with this entire quantity, we get the current in this branch. And again, this current gets divided into two parts again, but instead of doing that, let's simply multiply. No, that won't do because here 200 is in series. So this time I will have to find out this current I1. And how do I do that? I multiply the original current, the current through the battery, with 300, and I divide it with 500 plus R. So this, why do I do that? Because the current that goes into this branch is actually proportional to the other resistance. That happens when the resistances are connected parallelly. For students who could not understand this step, let me explain it in short. So if I current is coming and it is getting divided between two parallel resistances, then the current that moves through R1 is proportional to R2. That means if you want to write the current that moves through R1, you can write that current as R2 divided by the total resistance into I. All right, so that's a very quick way of writing that. Now, why did I say that the current moving through R1 will be proportional to R2? That's because these two resistances are connected parallelly, which means the potential difference across them will be equal. Okay, or you can say that IR will be constant. So whichever resistance will have more value, less current will pass through it. Or you can say that the current will get divided in the inverse ratio of the resistance, and therefore when we are calculating I1, R2 comes in the numerator. So I have used this trick here to divide this current into two parts and to get the value of I1. Now once you get the value of I1, you have to then multiply this I1 with R, and that gives you the potential difference across R in this circuit now. So with this, let's finish the calculation now. I can clearly see that I can take this 500 plus R inside the bracketed term, and that will become 10 into 300 into R divided by, when I take this inside, it becomes 300 into 200 plus R plus 100 multiplied by 500 plus R. Check this, guys. So simple calculation I have done. I took this 500 plus R inside the bracketed term. Here it gets cancelled, and here 100 gets multiplied with 500 plus R. And on the numerator we have not made any changes yet, but I can clearly see that I can pull out 100 outside this bracketed term. So we will lose the double zeros from both the terms. We will lose two zeros from here. So we will end up writing 10R divided by, this becomes 600 plus 3R. Let me write it, 600 plus 3R, and then plus 500 plus R. So plus 500 plus R. So we end up writing 10R divided by 1100 plus 4R. So this is what we get. Now this has to be equated with what we got in the previous circuit, and that was 10R divided by 200, 2R plus 300. So let me do that here. So it is 10R divided by 2R plus 300. So again, this 10R gets cancelled, and what we get is this 1100 plus 4R should be same as 2R plus 300. So it becomes 2R is equals to minus 800. I think I've committed some mistake. I think I committed some mistake, and probably the mistake is here. I forgot to keep track of this 3. So this 3 will also be kept into account. So that means 3 will appear here also. Okay, so that will give us 1100 plus 4R equal to 6R plus 600. Have a look at this. 6 plus 900, I'm sorry again, and this becomes equal to like 2R is equals to 200, so R is equals to 100. So after finishing this calculation we get R as 100. So that should be the correct answer, guys. That should be the correct answer. So now this is one of the solutions that I told you. The other very quick solution I'm going to present you, that also, that is called Thevenin's method. Okay, let's see what that method says. That method says that we can replace an entire circuit with an equivalent battery. So let's see how to make use of this. For that I will need the two circuits. Let me bring them here. Right, so we are ready with the circuits now. So let's see how to make use of Thevenin's method. So in Thevenin's method, we are going to replace this entire part of the circuit with an equivalent battery. Okay, and how do I do that? So I'll assume that we have a battery with some EMF E equivalent with some internal resistance which is R equivalent, and it is connected with this resistance R. So if this point is X and this point is Y, here in this circuit this is X and this is Y. Now how do we get the value of E equivalent in this circuit? What I can say, so guys, you will not understand this method unless you are familiar with the concept of equivalent battery. So this method can be understood if you are probably in 12th standard and you have covered this topic. So I'll just quickly mention the method here for students who are aware of the method. If you haven't covered this method yet in your curriculum, please ignore this method. So here I can assume that this 10-volt battery has an internal resistance of 300 ohm and it is connected with a battery of 0 volt and 300 ohm internal resistance, and the two batteries are connected parallelly. Okay, so I can get the value of E equivalent as E1 divided by R1, which is 300, plus E2 divided by R2 divided by 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2. So that will become 1 upon 300 plus 1 upon 300 again. So it becomes 10 divided by 300 into 2 divided by 300. So the equivalent EMF becomes equals to 5 volt. Okay, and what about R equivalent? Well, to calculate R equivalent, we simply assume a connecting wire here and then we calculate the equivalent resistance between point X and Y, ignoring this resistance. So that would be 150 ohm. Okay, so this turns out to be 150 ohm. Okay, and this turns out to be 5 volt. So the potential difference across R turns out to be 5 upon 150 plus R. That's the current that will flow in this branch into R. So this is the value of VR in the first circuit. Okay, now we will repeat the same process for the second circuit. So in the second circuit, the value, I will consider this point as A, this point as B, and we will then replace the entire circuit with an equivalent battery. And when we do so, the equivalent EMF comes out to be, I'm quickly doing it here, the equivalent EMF comes out to be 10 divided by 400 into 300. So this comes out to be, so this is 30 by 4, so this is 7.5 volts. So this is the equivalent EMF, and R equivalent comes out to be how much? R equivalent comes out to be 300 into 100 upon 400 plus 200. So this turns out to be um, again 75 plus 200, so 275. Okay, so we will get a similar circuit as we got here. So we are going to write 7.5 divided by 275 plus R into R is equals to VR. So we have to equate this with this. Let's see what we get when we do that. So 5R divided by 150 plus R, that was the term. Okay, now this should be equated with 7.5R divided by 275 plus R. Let's see what we get. R gets cancelled. Okay, and we will get 5 into 275 plus 5R is equals to 7.5 into 150 plus 7.5 R. So this becomes 2.5 R, the difference of these two, and this is equals to I can say 5 into 275 minus 7.5 into 150. So let's do one thing. Let's pull out 25 as the common term from here. So if I do that, I get 5 into 11 minus 7.5 into 6. Okay, divided by 2.5 is R. Now let's see what this number would become. So this will become 10 into 55 minus 7.5 into 6. So that would become 45 into 3, sorry, 15 into 3 is 45. So we end up getting R as 100 ohm again. So yeah, so this is the second method. You can see that this method was a little bit faster as compared to the previous method, but this could be done only when you are aware of Thevenin's method. So with that, I end this solution, guys. I hope you like this solution. Of course, it was a lengthy question for a 11th grade student. And this question is the one that would have created some distinction among the rank of the students. So thank you guys. Thank you for watching the video. I'll bring the solution to the next question in my next video. Take care. Bye-bye.